piloting the 47 this first practice session. Just turned a pretty good lap. AJ is 12th quickest now. That was his 9th lap on the track. But it really hasn't been a great season for A.J. Allmendinger, a guy who was in the chase 2 years ago at Daytona, right in the middle of chaos. But boy, moving up the racetrack, and A.J. going into the wall. Then at Kentucky, once again, wrong place at the wrong time. And not only once, but twice did A.J. Allmendinger have issues, and that fueled the frustration. And then last week, once again, issues with that car and that team.
Yeah, I mean, A.J. Allmendinger made a comment several weeks ago that he didn't think they had to win to get into the chase, that everybody was putting a lot of pressure on before going to Sonoma, and he said, listen, this team's good enough, we don't have to win, but, currently they're down at 22nd in points, and with Watkins Lynn coming, I think that they have to have that circle. If they're going to make the chase, I think it's pretty clear they're going to have to win Watkins.
And I think that's why this weekend is important, because you want to at least get the ship going back in the right direction. They don't have to come win at Pocono. But if they can just put a race together, mechanically put a race together, not hit anything, run inside the top 10 or 15, okay. We got our sea legs back, and we're ready to go to Watkins Glen to try to compete for a win.
And little things matter too, like the pit crew. When the pit crew, when you come in and you're running 18, it's not the same pressure as when you come in leading the race. So you've got to get this car running well enough to put pressure on everybody to find the problems. Trust me, pit stops show up when you're running well much more than they do when they don't. So all those little things, running well, don't you so much figure out what you're doing well and what you're not. It's hard just to show up at a racetrack and have everything go right.
We've touted Martin Truex Jr. as maybe one of the favorites when it comes to chase time because of the fact he's got to win. He's been very, very strong on 1.5-mile tracks as well as mile tracks, 1-mile tracks, and the chase is made up of 8 of those tracks, 3-mile tracks and 5.5-mile tracks. But he also hasn't had the best finishes as far as momentum goes over the past few races.
Yeah, but what they have had is speed, and speed is so difficult to find. The 78 has had the speed. They've had some fluke things. They've had some things that I feel aren't completely out of their control that they can button up and do a little bit better job at. But this 78 team is using the information they're getting. We talk about Joe Gibbs Racing all the time, and they get that technical alliance, and they're using it very well in the racetrack.
And with the chase coming, I think they have to start thinking about consistency. I know we talk about wins all the time, but you can advance all the way to the championship by being smart and being consistent.
Well, the team that's been consistent is, Chase Elliott. The whole start of the season they had worked up. You said Michigan right here, 100 points ahead of 17. Worked with consistency to gain that. But look, all the way down to New Hampshire, they were at plus 52. A top 15 in Indianapolis. While that's not this team's goal, at least it's much better than the finishes you see above that. Gain a few points back, maybe take a little bit of pressure off this young man to try to make the chase.
He comes to a racetrack where very, very close, Chase Elliott, to finding victory lane in the Cup Series. Back in June, it was a late restart that got him a little bit off, and that allowed Kurt Busch to get by, and Kurt Busch goes on to win it. But right there in contention, you mentioned have speed. He's had speed. He's shown that he can run up front in these races.
Yeah, listen, we talked about this for years, talked about this racetrack being a place that rookies couldn't run well. And then Denny Hamlin came here and won 2 in a row. And then we saw some other rookies come here. I think that this is one of the favorites going into the race Sunday. As well as he ran the first race here, there's no reason to think they won't run that well again. So Chase Elliott is certainly one of my favorites.
Marty.
Rick, speaking of speed, Paul Menard back atop the charts here at Pocono. And it's funny, I talked to Danny Stockman a moment ago. I said, why are you staying in qualifying trim the entire session when that